Hi, hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day or night or whatever time it is for you right now. I'm Nine, and today I was thinking about telling you guys about something I am very passionate about, something I really love and have fun doing. I'm talking about, of course, professional wrestling, but in video game format, of course, as I am not a professional wrestler. I wish I was, but perhaps it is no written for me. So, anyway, let's get into this amazing journey me and my closest friends are on. A long time ago, me and my brother got our hands on our first ever WWE game, which was, of course, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. We created custom characters for ourselves, Silver for me, and Alex for my brother, and Kenneth for our recently departed dear brother, who was my younger brother and Alex's older brother. Uh, so Silver, my character, started off wearing a hoodie with the hood up, all black with no facial hair and no face paint, wore baggy pants and used the punt kick as his finisher, and now he has matured into this version. As you can see, he is fairly different. Well, we still have the black going, but as you can see, it's really different, right? There have been a few like other updates and downgrades and all those stuff before we could get to this silver right here. But yeah, and then Alex, my brother's character. Like me, he started with no face paint and he wore shorts because my brother loved John Cena as a kid. I believe he still loves John Cena. Like John Cena and Triple H, I believe, are his favorite pro wrestlers. And honestly, not a bad choice at all. And now he has matured into this version, which I believe is really cool. But you should have seen his version in 2K23. It was like mostly the same, but just a tiny little bit better. But he liked this version, he made this version, and I am more than happy with it. Now, Kenneth, for our brother, he wasn't someone who could play games with us, unfortunately. So we made a character for him and played as this character ourselves, right? His main color theme way back then was gray, and his most distinguishable feature used to be camo pants tucked into his boots, right? And the camo pants stayed with him for a good while until recently when we upgraded his look, gave him a beard, and this is the new look. I think this version is a lot better, and he would probably have liked it. Okay, so all we did back then was compete against each other, right? Like me and my brother. But once we figured out we can have like multi-man matches, we decided to create some more characters, right? So we created our first original character besides us brothers' personal characters, right? And we named him Arma. Okay, so I don't think any explanation is necessary because you can see what he looks like. But like, I understand we could have called him something better, but we were kids at the time. And we just gave him the first thing that came into our heads, right? But yeah, he was cool. Back then, he had a knight's helmet and not all this. And since then, he has been a returning character in like every new game release that we got our hands on. And every time he would have like a different look. The first one was like a knight, the second one was something else, and around there I think the last year it was like a gladiator, and the year before that he had like mostly military style stuff, and this is him right now. And then joined Void, our cousin. He had a few name changes, right? He started from just the disaster, and then he changed that to V0, and then he finally settled on Void. And his iconic, like most iconic features would be him being really mysterious with his hood up, like this dark look and everything. and his mysterious look stayed around until now. But last year, like, we were holding this big event, uh, me and my friends, all of us, which was called Wrestle Empire. We will get into this later, but for this event, we decided, since we are all upgrading our characters, making second attires for everyone, we decided to change a little bit about voice, and we changed him into this version. But yeah, his mysterious look still stayed around. Like, it's still there, but we mostly use this version now. And then we'll fast forward to 2012, right? We got our hands on SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and we created the next two original characters, right? And these guys are just as iconic, if not more so than Arma. They have been a thorn at all our sides. Like, I'll get into all that later. So they were Alpha and Omega. Fun fact, back then we had no clue that the words Alpha and the word Omega had any connection at all. We had no clue, like, until a bit later on. Anyways, Alpha, right? He was like tall. We made him as tall as we could in the game, and he originally had this full boxing attire, like boxing shorts with boxing gloves and all that shit, right? But unfortunately, we don't have any clips from back then. I wish we did, but unfortunately we don't. So I can only show you the clips, the recent clips that we've gotten, right? Anyways, he then, after that, he transformed into whatever the fuck this is, big emo bald dude, I guess. But he's still tall. We still make him as tall as we can in the game. And then Omega, a buff dude, but with green skin, as you can see. That's just his most, like, discerning look, if that's the word I'm supposed to use. Okay, side note, my first language is not English, and most English I've learned through watching movies and dubbed anime and stuff when I was a kid, right? So I'm sorry if I use the wrong words sometimes, but you get the point. He's a big buff dude with green skin. His look has been very consistent. Like, every time, every new game when we made the character, he's always buff, he's always green, just like how Alpha is always tall. And well, unlike in SVR 2011, he's now the god dude, but yeah, consistent. So I give them both an overall of 100. I maxed out all of their attributes, which is what made them a fucking thorn in our sides, right? Okay, so next, I have to introduce you guys to my aunt and three of my close friends, right? First came my best friend Scorpio, and his most iconic feature that has stayed consistent throughout this whole journey has been his green hair. Now, back in those days, he had no facial hair, just like mine and my brother's characters, and he wore baggy pants, like, of course, me. And he wore a shirt, sleeves rolled up, and a sleeveless hoodie over it. And he has now hit puberty, we'll call it, and he now has facial hair just like us, and with a much better looking attire. Let's be honest. Now that's me just patting myself on the back because I am the one who upgraded this attire. Just me giving myself a medal here. I'm sorry. And his name, like most of us, has been consistent. Scorpio. Then came Xavier. He is also one of my closest friends, and he's also Scorpio's cousin. His main feature is his black hair and black t-shirt. And then on the back of his t-shirt is his logo. Back then he also had no beard, of course, and wore baggy pants, of course. And yeah, this is his glow up. And then there were Cloud and Falcon. Now, Cloud was mine and Scorpio's high school buddy. He also started this journey together with us, but since then he has left the city because after high school he got work, and yeah, we haven't really heard from him since then. We did hear from him after that, but it's been a while now. But we still consider him one of our closest friends. We went through a lot together, and yeah, he started this journey with us. So his character is gonna be with us hopefully forever. And his most iconic features were always his very fashionable pants, along with his high flying moves. He was really into John Morrison, Morrison, so that's where all this came from. And then Falcon. Now, Falcon is my aunt's character. Now, when I say aunt, you might think of someone who is much older, but no, my aunt is actually just 4 months older than me, so she's more like my sister. And Falcon is her character. And even though she's never really been on this journey with us herself, Falcon has been. Like, she have never really been locally playing with us or anything, but we always met Falcon, and Falcon has been with us since the beginning. And his most iconic look is just pure purple. And since then, I made a couple of other characters dedicated for a couple of friends who unfortunately can't join our local game sessions either. And now, back then in 2012, me and my friends, we played together defending the World Heavyweight Championship between all of us, right? Because, as you know, as anyone knows, we can all agree that the World Heavyweight, the big gold belt, was the best looking belt of that time. And yeah, that's what we did. We played together, we defended it amongst ourselves, just our characters, me, Alex, Scorpio, Saber, and Void, the five of us. It was good fun. It was really good fun. And it wasn't until 2017 when I was able to play any of the 2K games, of course. The first 2K game we got to play was WWE 2K17, in which we got to make our own championship belts, and that is exactly what we did, of course. I made a championship belt. We thought about a color theme for it because we didn't want it to look too generic or anything, and also we didn't want it to look like SmackDown or look like Raw. So we put our brains together and we decided on green. So its main color theme was green, and yeah, and we decided to hold a little tournament between us to decide who will be the first champion. And of course, Silver, my character, won and became the inaugural hybrid underground champion. Back then, it was called Triple Crown Champion because I didn't exactly know what the fuck Triple Crown meant, and it sounded cool, so I decided to name it Triple Crown. Everyone agreed, and then later we realized what Triple Crown meant, like it's an actual thing. So we thought about it and we decided on Hybrid Underground, and that has stayed with us since then. And we have been having banger after banger after banger on an almost weekly basis. But the title was always defended between our characters only, like the five of us only, right? At this point, the most iconic match type for us was the Elimination Chamber match, which happens for every sixth title defense. So far, only Alex has been able to win the title inside a chamber and held on to it without losing until the next chamber match. That was the longest title reign in hybrid underground history up until now. Well, it's not been defeated yet, so that was pretty cool because it's really hard to do. And last year, 2023, I believe we finally decided to have other characters, like actual in-game characters, and like Batman and everyone else joining in hybrid underground stuff, right? So, and that's how the official hybrid underground shows, as we like to call them, started. So my brother made the arenas for the shows and events, and I'm the one who makes the characters and decides on the stuff, like the match card and everything. He made the arenas, and he would name the arenas, which will be the name of the shows and stuff. And also we introduced a ranking system and it was really messy at first. We'll get into it. And this is also when a new face joined Hybrid Underground, as in a new friend of ours joined us locally. He was a close friend of mine. uh like, I met him at weird circumstances. Maybe we'll talk about it in another video. Anyways, Snow, that's his name. I understand that he's the spelling is very well, it looks like someone pressed random buttons, but it's an actually carefully spelled word name, whatever. But yeah, he told us that it will be pronounced as Snow, and that's what we will be pronouncing him as. But that's how it's written. And he was a really big help in like sorting out the ranking system. As I said, it looked like a mess when I did that, when I created it at first. I made it in an Excel file. I didn't filter anything. Then he came in and he helped me filter everything, and everything looks clean now and all that. So yeah, that. So, alright, now the highest rankers in the ranking system, the highest rankers have the chance to compete for the title, like as in compete in number one contenders matches to earn a shot at the title. Now it was time to decide on a big event for Hybrid Underground, like a WrestleMania or a Wrestle Kingdom for us, right? So we put our heads together and came up with a name, Wrestle Empire. Admittedly, not the most creative name, as it is clearly taken from Wrestle Kingdom and all that. But yeah, well, that's fine, you know. The matches, though, and the stakes of this event is much more unique. So every single match was for the Hybrid Underground Championship. That's the unique part, right? Because imagine being in a big huge event and you have to defend it in consecutive matches, and unless you win every match that you are in, you cannot hold on to the title. So that's huge. And the match types, they are not one-on-one matches either, they're all multi-man matches. So lots of opportunities for a lot of different characters, but at the same time really difficult to actually win the whole thing and become crowned as the emperor, right? So the first match is a 30-man Royal Rumble match, and as I mentioned, that's also for the title. And the rest of the matches, they include an 8-man ladder match for the title, an 8-man over the top rope battle royal for the title, an 8-man elimination match, like pinfall or submission elimination match, of course, for the title. And last year, for the first Wrestle Empire, we had a normal fatal 4-way match, but starting this year, starting from Wrestle Empire 2, we will replace the fatal 4-way match with a 10-man gauntlet match. And last but not the least, probably the most important match, since this is the most iconic match type in Hybrid Underground, as I mentioned before, is an Elimination Chamber match. Now, Wrestle Empire will always start with the Royal Rumble match, which means the wrestler that was holding the Hybrid Championship will go into the Royal Rumble as the champion. He will go into Wrestle Empire and compete inside the Royal Rumble match against 29 other wrestlers and have to defend his title inside that match. That's always how Wrestle Empire will start. And then the rest of the matches, they will be in a different order each year. And for that, we usually spin the wheel, the Google spin the wheel is simple, you know what I'm talking about. We spin the wheel to decide on the order, and then we spin the wheel to decide who will be in what match. And to qualify for this event, we hold numerous qualifying matches on each hybrid show leading up to the event. And the first empire was held last year, which was 2023. And the man who took the crown and became the first ever emperor and got his name written in the hybrid underground history was none other than Void. Yeah. And that is pretty wild because there was a lot of people in competing for this, and there was like 1 out of 29 chances for the emperor being one of us who played together locally. So that's pretty crazy that it ended up being one of us. And then just this year, 2024, another new face joined in. uh, Snow joined in last year, and this year we have someone else joining in. So he's primarily a friend and colleague of Snow, and he's also a neighbor of mine, Zortex. Right now he's kind of green, but he's coming into his own very nicely. He himself recently qualified 3 people into Wrestle Empire in one day, which is a record. No one, like last year or this year, none of us have actually qualified 3 people into the empire in one day. So that is crazy. Unfortunately, he's not able to qualify his own character Zortex into the empire, but you know, I'm sure he'll get there. Right now, we're qualifying for the second Wrestle Empire, which will be held once all 35 spots have been filled. Right now, we have about 13 people qualified, so a lot more to go. And we are all very excited, of course, to hold this event, and we're excited for you all to join in the journey with us. I will try to update on what's going on. Hopefully, each week I'll try my best to be as consistent as possible. And as of this recording, as of right now, the hybrid underground champion is none other than my brother Alex, who took it from Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was played by Scorpio, and he defended the title twice until he dropped it to Alex just in the most recent Hybrid Underground show. And right now, Alex has been boasting his title around, which is fun, of course. And yeah, we have another Hybrid Underground show really soon, and hopefully, our next video will be about that show. The reason I really wanted to make this hybrid underground video right now is to make a series about this, because as I said, I'm really passionate about this whole thing. This whole thing is like really close to my heart, you can say, because like this is something that I've been looking forward every week to doing. Like, no matter how bad or how good the week has been, this is something, hybrid underground has been something that I can keep looking forward to, because I know it will be fun, right? So yeah, I decided to make this a YouTube series so that maybe one day in the future also we can come back and look back at all this stuff, and hopefully hybrid underground will stay for a long time, and there'll be a lot more Soul Empires and a lot more other events going forward. And yeah, so hopefully you can join us on this journey. I'm 9 or Silver if you're here for this content, and we are Hybrid Underground.